spent our teenage summers under stadium bleachers, ignoring all the warnings from our worried school teachers. We drank cheap soda from aluminum cans, making grand, unrealistic and magnificent plans. You had a skateboard with the graphics worn off, laughing at the future with the arrogant scoff. We carved our initials in the gymnasium floor, believing that our innocence would last evermore. But adolescence vanishes like smoke from a match, leaving only memories that we cannot reattach. The graduation ceremony came and it went, and all that sovereign energy was permanently spent. I see you working now behind a corporate desk, your wild hair tamed into something picturesque. We traded our rebellion for a steady paycheck, leaving the remains of our adventure a wreck. The yearbook is collecting mildew in a box, and time has picked the tumblers of our secret combination locks. We squandered our potential on a beautiful illusion, losing all our clarity in a adult confusion. Oh, we are mourning for our wasted youth tonight, the years we threw away without a single proper fight. We ran head first into a calculated trap, losing all the coordinates on our juvenile map. Yeah, the calendar was stealing while we looked the other way. I found an old mixtape in the glove compartment tray, with songs we used to scream along to every single day. The tape is warped from the heat of July, just like the confidence they used to glorify our sky. I remember when we swore we would never grow old or conform to the expectations that this society sold. But the system is a grinder that is heavy and slow, crushing all the impulses that we used to show. You don't wear your leather jacket anymore, it's hanging in the closet by the basement pantry door. You speak in vocabulary that is clinical and dry, without a single spark of rebellion in your eye. We became the very citizens we used to despise, with calculated answers and conventional ties. The playground is a parking lot of bitumen and stone, where we sit inside our vehicles completely alone. The yearbook is collecting mildew in a box, and time has picked the tumblers of our secret combination locks. We squandered our potential on a beautiful illusion, losing all our clarity in a adult confusion. Oh, we are mourning for our wasted youth tonight, the years we threw away without a single proper fight. Oh, we ran head first into a calculated trap, losing all the coordinates on our juvenile map. Yeah, the calendar was stealing while we looked the other way. Inside your sluggish brain, but the energy is missing and the vocal cords are tired, and the wild imagination is permanently expired. We are just two adults paying mortgage and rent, regretting every single moment that we casually misspent. Young hearts, old smarts, the years we threw away without a single proper fight. Oh, we ran head first into a calculated trap, losing all the coordinates on our juvenile map. Yeah, the calendar was stealing while we looked the other way. You fade Mm. Mm. I stood upon the pier, watching the cargo vessels depart, with a heavy nautical compass navigating my heart. You boarded a cruise ship that was headed for the west, to seek a destination where your spirit could find rest. The gap between the hull and the timber grew wide as the vessel was captured by the incoming tide. Your white handkerchief was a speck in the gray before the ocean mist took the vision away. Now I'm writing letters that will take weeks to arrive to an overseas address where you were trying to thrive. You send me postcards of palm trees and tropical sand, a stark contrast to this cold and muddy northern land. The geography is vast and the time zones don't align. When it is midnight in your world, it is morning in mine. We are trying to maintain a thread across the sea, but the distance is eroding our common history. The salt water is heating up the cables of our love, and the communication satellites are failing up above. We are two separate islands in infinite blue, losing all the coordinates that connected me to you. We are standing on distant shores, looking out at the main, divided by an ocean of geography and pain. The horizon is a barrier that we cannot cross today, washing all the closeness of our previous life away. Yeah, the water is deep, and the promises are hard to keep. I check the maritime tracking application on my device to see a vessel navigating through the northern ice. You were thousands of nautical miles from this room, living in a climate where different flowers bloom. I wonder if the ocean air has altered your voice, or if your relocation was a permanent choice. I look at the map on my living room wall, realizing that my world is incredibly small. The lighthouse on the cliff throws a rotating beam, an artificial guide for a sailor's broken dream, but it cannot illuminate the space between our souls or repair the damage of our conflicting goals. You are chasing a career in a metropolitan state, while I am stuck here bargaining with provincial fate. The continental shelf is a physical divide that mirrors the alienation that we cultivate inside. The salt water is eating at the cables of our love, and the communication satellites are failing up above. We are two separate islands in infinite blue, losing all the coordinates that connected me to you. We are standing on distant shores, looking out at the main, divided by an ocean of geography and pain. The horizon is a barrier that we cannot cross today, washing all the closeness of our previous life away. Yeah, the water is deep, and the promises are hard to keep. Swim across the channel, navigate the stormy strait, do something to challenge the maritime fate. But the current is too strong and the distance is too vast, and our physical endurance is failing us at last. So we stand on the beaches at opposite ends of the earth, mourning the relationship that gave us our worth. Lost at sea, you and me, and drowned. We are standing on distant shores, looking out at the main, divided by an ocean of geography and pain. The horizon is a barrier that we cannot cross today, washing all the closeness of our previous life away. Yeah, the water is deep, and the promises are hard to keep. Tides roll, vast soul, afloat, afloat. I stood upon the pier, watching the cargo vessels depart, with a heavy nautical compass navigating my heart. You boarded a cruise ship that was headed for the west, to seek a destination where your spirit could find rest. The gap between the hull and the timber grew wide as the vessel was captured by the incoming tide. Your white handkerchief was a speck in the gray before the ocean mist took the vision away. Now I am writing letters that would take weeks to arrive to an overseas address where you were trying to thrive. You sent me postcards of palm trees and tropical sand, a stark contrast to this cold and muddy northern land. The geography is vast and the time zones don't align. When it is midnight in your world, it is morning in mine. We are trying to maintain a thread across the sea, but the distance is a road in our common history. The salt water receding at the cables of our love, and the communication satellites are failing up above. We are two separate islands in the infinite blue, losing all the coordinates that connected me to you. We are standing on distant shores, looking out. The thermometer plummeted below the 0 mark when we were walking slowly through the residential park. We zipped our heavy parkas up against the northern breeze, watching our breath crystallize above the frozen trees. The wool was a barrier that kept the warmth inside, but also served to complicate the feelings we would hide. We looked like two astronauts exploring outer space, insulated completely from each other's embrace. You wore a thick scarf that covered up your chin, preventing any syllables from escaping within. The buttons were massive and the fabric was so dense, a textile variation of a defensive picket fence. We held hands through our mittens, but we couldn't feel the skin. An artificial contact where no passion could begin. The winter was an excuse to keep our distance justified, while the true emotional frostbite was happening inside. The blizzard is howling and the icicles are pet, a frozen termination to a relationship we can't defend. We are wrapped in layers of defensive insulation here, too terrified of vulnerability to let each other near. We are hiding in our protect us, but they keep us apart. I see a heavy overcoat hanging in the hall, a dark silhouette against the wall-papered wall. The pockets are filled with lint and ticket stubs from plays we attended together during our warmer days. I touch the collar gently, but the texture makes me shudder, a woolen reminder of the words we didn't utter. We thought that the protection would endure until July, but summer never happens when the spirits choose to die. The radiator clanks inside the living room tonight, but it cannot alleviate the chill within our sight. We sit across the table with our heavy sweaters on, a pair of Arctic explorers whose compasses are gone. The frost is accumulating on the inside of the pain, a meteorological metaphor of our internal pain. If we took off the garments, we might perish from the cold, so we keep ourselves encased in the fibers of old. The blizzard is howling and the icicles are pent, a frozen termination to our relationship we can't defend. We are wrapped in layers of defensive insulation here, too terrified of vulnerability to let each other near. We are hiding in our winter coats, shivering in the snow, waiting for a springtime that we will never know. The padding is thick, but our hearts are freezing cold, trapped inside the stories that we never fully told. Yeah, the garments protect us, but they keep us apart. Cast the scarf into the drift, do something to accelerate the continental shift. But your fingers are too numb to manipulate the clasp, and my hands are shaking far beyond my normal grasp. So we stay encapsulated in our customized cocoons, underneath the glare of freezing winter moons, so cold, too deep. Go to sleep. We are hiding in our winter coats, shivering in the snow, waiting for a springtime that we will never know. The padding is thick, but our hearts are freezing cold, trapped inside the stories that we never fully told. Protect us, but they keep us apart. Heavy wood, empty soul, freeze. The barometer dropped 10 points in less than an hour, as a low-pressure system stripped the bloom from the flower. I left the house with a light linen shirt on my back, completely unaware of the atmospheric attack. You were smiling at breakfast while you poured out the tea, discussing the weekend and the places we'd see. But a phone call arrived at 9:15, and a tectonic shift split your future from mine. There was no gradual fading or a slow soft decay, no warning signs pointing to a departure day, just a sudden disclosure that you couldn't undo, a brutal correction to the narrative I knew. The locks were all altered by the time I returned, and the bridge we inhabited was completely burned. I am standing on the pavement in the blistering wind, mourning the ever that so abruptly had pinned. Oh, the weather forecast didn't mention this gale, and our navigational instruments completely failed. We transitioned from summer to an Arctic freeze in the time it takes a branch to snap from the trees. We are reeling from the sudden change in the atmosphere, trying to make sense of the chaos that is happening here. The scenery transformed in the blink of an eye, leaving us stranded underneath a foreign sky. Yeah, the whiplash is violent, and the damage is done. I found your umbrella left behind in the hall, a solitary item leaning up against the wall. It was dry and compact, never seeing the storm that erupted inside where it used to be warm. I touched the curved handle, but the plastic is cold, a physical anchor to a story grown old. In a matter of minutes we became strangers again, erasing the progress of a decade or 10. The emergency sirens are echoing loud through the panic streets of the metropolitan crowd. They are clearing debris from the collapsed highway lane, a structural casualty of this sudden strain. I sit on a bench with my head in my hands, watching the ruin of our grandest plans, a permanent fracture in a flawless design that occurred without a signal or a warning sign. The weather forecast didn't mention this gale, and our navigational instruments completely failed. We transitioned from summer to an Arctic freeze in the time it takes a branch to snap from the trees. We are reeling from the sudden change in the atmosphere, trying to make sense of the chaos that is happening here. The scenery transformed in the blink of an eye, leaving us stranded underneath a foreign sky. Yeah, the whiplash is violent, and the damage is done. Is completely erased, and the new reality cannot be faced. You cannot prepare for a bolt from the blue when it splits you away from the person you knew. Snap, click, now it's different, gone. We are reeling from the sudden change in the atmosphere, trying to make sense of the chaos that is happening here. The scenery transformed in the blink of an eye, leaving us stranded underneath a foreign sky. Yeah, the whiplash is violent, and the damage is done. Shifted ground, no more sound, a blaze, ablaze. The television screen is displaying a snowy white glare, while I'm sitting frozen in the leather rocking chair. The broadcasting station went off the air at 3, leaving a frequency of pure white noise for me to see. I remember when our future was a high-definition view, vibrant and crystal clear when I was standing next to you. But the signal grew corrupted as the distance grew too wide, and the transmission failed from the emotional inside. I tried to tune the antenna to capture your frequency, but the feedback loop was brutal, and it blinded me to see. The cathode ray tube is buzzing with a low electricity. electricity home. A technological desert that has made my fingers numb. We used to share a vision of a cottage by the stream, but that imagery has dissolved into a highly static dream, a scrambled manifestation of a hope we couldn't save, buried underneath the mountain of a broken wireless wave. The reception is poor and the satellites are down. There is no communication traveling across this town. We are trying to connect through a rusty copper wire, but the voltage is insufficient to ignite the inner fire. We are trapped in static dreams, waking up to white noise, losing all the innocence of our youthful boys and joys. The channel is scrambled and the screen is getting gray, washing all the clarity of our own life away. Yeah, the signal is dead, just like the love we fed. I found an old cassette tape underneath the car seat floor, containing all the melodies that we don't hum anymore. The magnetic ribbon is tangled in the plastic casing cracked, a physical example of the loyalty we lacked. I forced it into the player, but the audio was distorted. Every happy memory was violently aborted by the hiss and the crackle of a tape that has decayed, just like the fragile promises that we previously made. The telecommunication tower on the summit of the hill is struck by winter lightning while the atmosphere is chill. The grid is shutting down and the indicators flash red, a systematic failure of the narrative we let. I dial your telephone number, but the operator says the circuit is busy with the ghost of yesterdays. There is no data traveling across the fiber optic cable to fix the broken pieces of our metaphorical table. The reception is poor and the satellites are down. There is no communication traveling across this town. We are trying to connect through a rusted copper wire, but the voltage is insufficient to ignite the inner fire. We are trapped in static dreams, waking up to white noise, losing all the innocence of our youthful boys and joys. The channel is scrambled and the screen is getting gray, washing all the clarity of our own life away. Yeah, the signal is dead, just like the love we fed. Adjust the dial, turn the knob, try to clear the screen, eliminate the interference that has come between. But the transmitter is broken and the power supply is blown. We are just two broadcasters speaking to the unknown. The screen is going dark and the cathode tube explodes, ending all the journeys on our separate digital roads. The line is dead, nothing left ahead. We are trapped in static dreams, waking up to white noise, losing all the innocence of our youthful boys and joys. The channel is scrambled and the screen is getting gray, washing all the clarity of our own life away. Yeah, the signal is dead, just like the love we fed. Static noise, lost our poise, disconnected. We built a castle out of cardboard boxes in the yard and swore that we would guard it like a royal palace guard. We gathered plastic jewels and we placed them on our brow, believing we were monarchs who would never disavow. the promises we whispered in the safety of the dark, before the glowing embers turned into a dangerous spark. You wore a golden circlet made of yellow painted wire, shining like a beacon by our little campfire. But sovereignty is heavy for a pair of fragile kids. We closed our eyes tightly underneath our heavy lids. The rain began to fall and made the cardboard turn to mud. The royal tapestry was washed away by a summer flood. Your coronet was twisted when you dropped it on the stone. And suddenly I realized that I was all alone. The kingdom that we fancied was a figment of deceit, as royalty lay bleeding on the cobblestone street. The throne is empty and the kingdom has completely fallen down. There is no ceremony left within this haunted town. We are just two beggars who are searching for a town. We are wearing broken crowns made of vanity and pride, hiding all the secrets that we keep so deep inside. The gold is flaking off and showing rust beneath the gleam. We woke up from the nightmare of a majestic dream. Heavy is the head that wears a broken crown today. I see you walking nowadays without your royal stride. The majesty has vanished and you have nowhere to hide. Your shoulders are bent low beneath the weight of your regret, paying off a massive and an unforgiving debt. We thought we were superior to citizens below, but kings can also stumble when the heavy blizzards blow. The scepter that you carried is a broken piece of wood. You didn't rule the empire the way you said you would. The palace walls are crumbled into piles of grey debris. There is no royal navy sailing out upon the sea. We are just ordinary people, stripped of all our titles, now forced to face reality and make a final bow. The court jester is laughing at the tragedy we made, as all the vibrant colors of our coronation fade. A monarchy of madness built on shifting desert sand. We lost our total grip upon the promise of the land. The throne is empty and the kingdom has completely fallen down. There is no ceremony left within this haunted town. We are just two beggars who are searching for a town. We are wearing broken crowns made of vanity and pride, hiding all the secrets that we keep so deep inside. The gold is flaking off and showing rust beneath the gleam. We woke up from the nightmare of a majestic dream. Heavy is the head that wears a broken crown today. Oh yeah. Tear down the banner to extinguish all the flames. We are just commoners who played expensive games. You cannot rule a heart with an iron rusty fist. Our names were never written on the legendary list. Take off the jewelry, throw it in the dirt. No amount of royalty can insulate the hurt. Long live the king, that's what they used to sing, but it doesn't mean nothing. We are wearing broken crowns made of vanity and pride, oh, hiding all the secrets that we keep so deep inside. The gold is flaking off and showing rust beneath the gleam. We woke up from the nightmare of a majestic wears a broken crown today. Drop the crown, watch it tumble down to the ground, to the ground. The barometer dropped 10 points in less than an hour as a low-pressure system stripped the bloom from the flower. I left the house with a light linen shirt on my back, completely unaware of the atmospheric attack. You were smiling at breakfast while you poured out the tea, discussing the weekend and the places we'd see. But a phone call arrived at 9:15, and a tectonic shift split your future from mine. There was no gradual fading or a slow, soft decay, no warning signs pointing to a departure day. Just a sudden disclosure that you couldn't undo, a brutal correction to the narrative I knew. The locks were all altered by the time I returned, and the bridge we inhabited was completely burned. I am standing on the pavement in the blistering wind, mourning the error that so abruptly had pinned. The weather forecast didn't mention this scale, and our navigational instruments completely fail. We transitioned from summer to an Arctic freeze, and the time it takes a branch to snap from the trees. We are reeling from the sudden change in the atmosphere, trying to make sense of the chaos that is happening here. The scenery transformed in the blink of an eye, leaving us stranded underneath a foreign sky. Yeah, the whiplash is violent and the damage is done. I found your umbrella left behind in the hall, a solitary item leaning up against the wall. It was dry and compact, never seeing the storm that erupted inside where it used to be warm. I touched the curved handle, but the plastic is cold, a physical anchor to a story grown old. In a matter of minutes we became strangers again, erasing the progress of a decade or 10. The emergency sirens are echoing loud through the panic streets of the metropolitan crowd. They are clearing debris from the collapsed highway lane, a structural casualty of this sudden strain. I sit on a bench with my head in my hands, watching the ruin of our grandest plans, a permanent fracture in a flawless design that occurred without a signal or a warning sign. The weather forecast didn't mention this scale, and our navigational instruments completely fail. We transitioned from summer to an Arctic freeze, and the time it takes a branch to snap from the trees. We are reeling from the sudden change in the atmosphere, trying to make sense of the chaos that is happening here. The scenery transformed in the blink of an eye, leaving us stranded underneath a foreign sky. Yeah, the whiplash is violent and the damage is done. Splits you away from the person you knew. Snap, click, now it's different, gone. We are reeling from the sudden change in the atmosphere, trying to make sense of the chaos that The station platform flashes underneath the neon sign. A dozen sleepy passengers are standing in a line. I bought a one-way ticket to a city in the north to flee the situation that was going back and forth. The steam is rising slowly from the belly of the beast. This midnight cold is blowing from the valleys of the east. I look across my shoulder at the city lights behind, with 100 contradictions rolling heavy through my mind. You were sleeping on the mattress when I packed my leather case. I didn't leave a message in that suffocating place. The engine gave a whistle like a signal of distress. A metal roar to pull me from this complicated mess. The conductor waves a lantern and the iron wheels rotate, a heavy movement forcing us to compromise with fate. The scenery is vanishing into a sea of black, and there is no mechanic who can put us on the track. The diesel smoke is filling up the chambers of my chest, a traveling companion on this solitary quest. We accelerated quickly, but we headed for a crash. Now our beautiful connection is a pile of burned ash. We are riding on the midnight trains, leaving ghosts behind, trying to escape the thoughts that paralyze the mind. The tracks go on forever through the darkness and the rain, but motion doesn't mitigate the presence of the pain. No fast locomotive cannot outrun the regret. I watch my own reflection in the dirty window pane, juxtaposed against the drops of heavy summer rain. The passengers around me are all staring at their phone, a congregation of the lost who prefer to be alone. The rhythm of the metal rails is hypnotic to the ear, a steady beat that drummed away my reservation fear. I wonder if you woke up yet and noticed I was gone, or if you'll only realize when you see the morning dawn. The conductor checks my ticket with a sympathetic glance. He knows that people on this coach are running from romance. We are a collection of the broken and the bruised, who chose to be abandoned rather than to be abused. The next stop is a junction where the tracks begin to split, a geographical expression of the way that we just quit. I could switch to another line and head back to your arms, but my intuition warns me of the volatile alarms. The diesel smoke is filling up the chambers of my chest, a traveling companion on this solitary quest. We accelerated quickly, but we headed for a crash. Now our beautiful connection is a pile of burned ash. We are riding on the midnight trains, leaving ghosts behind, trying to escape the thoughts that paralyze the mind. The tracks go on forever through the darkness and the rain, but motion doesn't mitigate the presence of the pain. No fast locomotive cannot outrun the regret. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Click, pace, track, change, speed up the pace, get me far away from the memory of your face. The whistle is a scream that echoes through the mountain pass as we shatter every illusion like a sheet of fragile glass. You can pull the emergency brake, but it's too late to stall. The locomotive is moving, and it's gonna take it all. Chug, chug, chug. The engine sighs as the city dies. We are riding on the midnight trains, leaving ghosts behind, trying to escape the thoughts that paralyze the mind. The tracks go on forever through the darkness and the rain, but motion doesn't mitigate the presence of the pain. No fast locomotive cannot outrun the regret. Midnight train, wash the pain, God. dipped the fountain pen into the bottle of black ink and sat beside the desk to give myself a chance to think. The envelope is addressed to your apartment on the hill, where the air is always biting and the wind is always chill. I struggled with the opening, the greeting felt so cold, a stark contrast to stories that we previously told. My handwriting is shaky and the sentences are brief, a summary of modern love collapsing into grief. You always loved the structure of a handwritten note, the texture of the parchment and the poetry I wrote. But this is not a ballad filled with compliments and praise. It's a declaration of the end of all our golden days. I explain the exact moment when the magic disappeared, the quiet realization of the outcome that we feared. No arguments or screaming matches, just a steady decline, a mutual understanding that your path was distinct from mine. The postage stamp is fixed upon the corner of the page, a final validation of our exit from the stage. We are signing off the ledger, closing up the heavy book without a single hesitation or a backward look. These are the last letters that I will ever send to you, a final explanation of the things we couldn't do. The ink is drying slowly, but the meaning is so clear. We ran out of sentences to keep each other near. Yeah, we spelled out our goodbye in a beautiful design. I walked down to the postbox at the corner of the square. The midnight fog is thick enough to choke the heavy air. I hold the envelope above the metal opening slot, reviving every single word and every single thought. Once it drops inside the box, there is no turning back, no way to intercept the mail or alter up the track. It felt like dropping weights into a deep and dark abyss, a tragic conclusion to a love that started with a kiss. I imagine when you receive it on Tuesday afternoon, you slice the paper open with a silver butter spoon. Your eyes will scan the paragraphs I labored to construct, detailing how our paradise was suddenly destruct. Maybe a tear will fall and smudge the signature below, or maybe you'll be relieved to finally let it go. We carved our names in tree bark, but the wood began to rot, and this final correspondence is the only thing we got. The postage stamp is fixed upon the corner of the page, a final validation of our exit from the stage. We are signing off the ledger, closing up the heavy book without a single hesitation or a backward look. These are the last letters that I will ever send to you, a final explanation of the things we couldn't do. The ink is drying slowly, but the meaning is so clear. We ran out of sentences to keep each other near. Yeah, we spelled out our goodbye in a beautiful design. Be heard, fold it up, seal the bag, let the postman do the chore, because we are not communicating anymore. Dear love, goodbye. Yeah, we spelled out our goodbye in a beautiful design. Postage paid, memories fade, signed. Signed. I tasted the dark marmalade you left upon the plate, a flavor profile that matches our contemporary state. A little bit of sugary sweetness at the very start, followed by an astringent bite that punctures the heart. We cultivated a recipe that was complex and refined, blending the ingredients that our personalities aligned. But the ratio was faulty and the mixture turned sour, leaving an unpleasant aftertaste at this final hour. I remember the honeymoon phase in the orchard by the farm, when every single syllable possessed a therapeutic charm. We pick fresh strawberries from the bushes in the field, savoring the bounty that the fertile soil would yield. But the seasons rotated and the frost came too soon, blackening the vegetation under an October moon. Now the fruit is fermenting in the wooden storage bin, a toxic transformation that is occurring from within. The culinary experts cannot fix this broken stew, and there is no condiment that can make the flavor new. We are consuming the remnants of a beautiful mistake, numbing our palates for our mental sanity's sake. We are swallowing this bittersweet memory tonight, trying to convince ourselves that everything is right. A confusing combination that is driving us insane. Yeah, the medicine is harsh, but the sickness was deep. I found a dark chocolate bar in the pocket of your vest, a confectionery treat that you had previously suppressed. I broke off a square and let it dissolve on my tongue, recalling the melodies that we previously sung. It was 80% cacao, intense and severe, an accurate reflection of the atmosphere. Here we don't do simple sugar or cheap artificial treats, we prefer the complexity of these emotional defeats. The coffee machine is dripping in the pantry alcove now as I prepare a beverage to make my final bow. I don't add any cream or the white granulated crystals. We are treating our farewell like the firing of pistols, just a black boiling liquid that is scorching to the throat, a fitting and commitment to the final note I wrote. We drink to our history and the damage we sustained, savoring the agony that permanently remained. The culinary experts cannot fix this broken stew, and there is no condiment that can make the flavor new. We are consuming the remnants of a beautiful mistake, numbing our palates for our mental sanity's sake. We are swallowing this bittersweet memory tonight, trying to convince ourselves that everything is right. The contrast is brutal and the pleasure brings us pain, a confusing combination that is driving us insane. Yeah, the medicine is harsh, but the sickness was deep. Spit it out, clear the mouth, rinse the tongue clean, erase the flavor profiles that have come between. But the receptors are stained and the memory persists, a permanent item on our emotional lists. You cannot separate the sugar from the gold when you choose to consume it all. Tonic, syrup, pour it out. The end, we are knows that everything is right. The contrast is brutal, and the pleasure brings us pain. A confusing combination that is driving us insane. Yeah, the medicine is harsh, but the sickness was deep. Sharp tang, door bang, acrid. I shouted out your name into the canyon deep and wide, hoping for an answer from the solitary side. But the landscape was indifferent to the misery I felt, and the frosty mountain ridges refused to ever melt. The sound of my own voice came bouncing back into my ear, a mockery of passion that was twisted by my fear. You left without a warning on a Tuesday afternoon, leaving a vacant apartment that was cleared out way too soon. The tiles in the bathroom multiply the dripping faucet sound, the water repercussion while I stare up on the ground. Every statement that we made inside this residential space is bouncing off the plaster without leaving any trace. We used to fill the structure with our arguments and cheers, but the frequency is altered over consecutive years. Now the vibration is a hollow and a terrifying thing, like a broken copper bell that has forgotten how to ring. We built a sanctuary out of promises and stone, but the structural integrity has left us both alone. The cavities are wide and the foundations are insecure, and there is no remedy that can make this love endure. We are chasing hollow echoes in an empty corridor, listening for the footsteps that don't walk here anymore. The words have lost their substance, but the noises staying loud. A ghostly congregation like a solitary crowd. Yeah, the resonance remains, reminding us of pains. I walked into the valley where we carved our monogram before the river flooded and destroyed the wooden dam. The gorge is full of boulders that have tumbled from the peak, crushing all the flowers that were delicate and weak. I spoke into the cavern just to test the acoustic grace, but the replication process was an absolute disgrace. It distorted all the meaning of the phrases that I chose, turning a confession into a parade of woes. The telephone is silent, but the static is alive, a technological reminder that our bond did not survive. I listened to old voicemails that you recorded on your device, when your tone was full of honey before it turned to ice. The digital compression makes your laughter sound so strange, a robotic variation that emphasizes the change. I disconnect the line because the feedback is too intense, an auditory punishment that defies all common sense. We built a sanctuary out of promises and stone, but the structural integrity has left us both alone. The cavities are wide and the foundations are insecure, and there is no remedy that can make this love endure. We are chasing hollow echoes in an empty corridor, listening for the footsteps that don't walk here anymore. The words have lost their substance, but the noises staying loud. A ghostly congregation like a solitary crowd. Yeah, the resonance remains, reminding us of pain. Whoa, whoa. this relationship are dead, and I am drowning in the feedback of the things you said. Hello? Is anyone there? No. We are chasing hollow echoes in an empty corridor, listening for the footsteps that don't walk here anymore. The words have lost their substance, but the noises staying loud. A ghostly congregation like a solitary crowd. Yeah, the resonance remains, reminding us of pain. Echoes fade, debts unpaid. Silence. The thermometer plummeted below the 0 mark when we were walking slowly through the residential park. We zipped our heavy parkas up against the northern breeze, watching our breath crystallize above the frozen trees. The wool was a barrier that kept the warmth inside, but also served to complicate the feelings we would hide. We looked like two astronauts exploring outer space, insulated completely from each other's embrace. You wore a thick scarf that covered up your chin, preventing any syllables from escaping within. The buttons were massive and the fabric was so dense, a textile variation of a defensive picket fence. We held hands through our mittens, but we couldn't feel the skin. An artificial contact where no passion could begin. The winter was an excuse to keep our distance justified, while the true emotional frostbite was happening inside. The blizzard is howling and the icicles are pinned, a frozen termination to a relationship we can't defend. We are wrapped in layers of defensive insulation here, too terrified of vulnerability to let each other near. Oh, we are hiding in our winter coats, shivering in the snow, waiting for a springtime that we will never know. The padding is thick, but our hearts are freezing cold, trapped inside the stories that we never fully told. Yeah, the garments protect us, but they keep us apart. I see a heavy overcoat hanging in the hall, a dark silhouette against the wallpapered wall. The pockets are filled with lint and ticket stubs from plays we attended together during our warmer days. I touch the collar gently, but the texture makes me shudder. A woolen reminder of the words we didn't utter. We thought that the protection would endure until July, but summer never happens when the spirits choose to die. The radiator clanks inside the living room tonight, but it cannot alleviate the chill within our sight. We sit across the table with our heavy sweaters on, a pair of Arctic explorers whose compass is all gone. The frost is accumulating on the inside of the pain, a meteorological metaphor of our internal pain. If we took off the garments, we might perish from the cold, so we keep ourselves encased in the fibers of old. The blizzard is howling and the icicles are penned, a frozen termination to a relationship we can't defend. We are wrapped in layers of defensive insulation here, too terrified of vulnerability to let each other near. We are hiding in our winter coats, shivering in the snow, waiting for a springtime that we will never know. The padding is thick, but our hearts are freezing cold. Trapped inside the stories that we never fully told. Yeah, the garments protect us, but they keep us apart. To accelerate the continental shift, but your fingers are too numb to manipulate the clasp, and my hands are shaking far beyond my normal grasp. So we stay encapsulated in our customized cocoons, underneath the glare of freezing winter moons. So cold, too deep, go to sleep. Yeah, hiding in our winter coats, shivering in the snow, waiting for a springtime that we will never know. The padding is thick, but our hearts are freezing cold. Trapped inside the stories that we never fully told. Yeah, the garments protect us, but they keep us apart. Heavy wool, empty soul, free.